President-elect Donald Trump's nominee to head EPA, Zeldin, had a bit of a difficult time with the science during his confirmation hearing. So he was being asked by Senator Sheldon Whitehouse if carbon dioxide was considered a pollutant by law. Now, he didn't have a lot of good answers for this, so I'll go through them. He said, quote, this is supposed to be a joke. As far as carbon dioxide emitted from you during that question, I would say no. Really? Okay. I know it's one of those. Yeah, but you're like, well, we exhale carbon dioxide, so how could it be a pollutant? Well, considering how we don't breathe it, we can't breathe it. We get too much of it and we die. Yeah, that could be a bit of a problem. See, it turns out that things that, can kill you if you have too much of it can be considered to be pollutants, which is why you can't have too much of it in the atmosphere or in your home or whatever. Okay, so now he did say, quote, as far as carbon dioxide that is emitted in larger masses, like from power plants, for example, that we hear concern about from scientists as well as from Congress, that's something that certainly needs to be focused on for the EPA. Well, yeah, it's the Environmental Protection Agency. You're supposed to use your position to protect the environment. They're not doing a good job. In fact, they're doing a pretty terrible job. But White House pressed on this question. He asked, as a matter of law, is it a designated pollutant? Correct? Senator, while carbon dioxide is not named as one of the 6 in the Clean Air Act, the EPA has been treating it as such. But you want to know why? It's because in 2007, Supreme Court had designated that CO2 is a pollutant and ought to be regulated by the EPA. So it basically is like you have to designate it as a pollutant under the law so that the EPA can have the power to regulate it. Okay. Now, that said, if you put too much of it in our atmosphere, it's got some negative effects. In fact, some of those effects were the focus of White House's next question. He said, what effect, briefly and in layman's terms, I know you're not a scientific expert. Yeah, no kidding. What effect are carbon dioxide emissions from fossil fuel combustion having in the atmosphere? Now, Zeldin dodged this question and responded by saying, Senator, while I'm someone who believes strongly that we should work with the scientists, leaving science to the scientists, the policy to the policymakers, and that we all work together. Yeah, okay. That is a giant pile of horse crap. I don't think I've heard so. You're not going to work with the scientists. You're going to ignore the scientists. Just like pretty much every other Republican congressperson. Okay? They don't care about the science. 99% of the scientific community says, hey, we've put too much carbon into the atmosphere already, and now the levels of carbon are kind of out of balance, causing our planet to rapidly warm. That's having devastating effects on, of course, temperatures, sea level rise, weather patterns, plants, wildlife, and civilization. Okay? It's having some pretty negative effects. All right? And those effects will continue to compound and compound as it gets worse and worse. So working together would entail that perhaps we find a way to restore the balance a bit. Not only by reducing carbon output by a lot, but taking some of the carbon we've already put there and putting it somewhere else, perhaps back in the ground or something. Getting it out of the atmosphere because too much of it causes warming. All right. Now, that said, none of that's going to happen under Donald Trump. There will be no attempt at trying to balance out these levels to where we can keep the climate relatively stable like it was before the Industrial Revolution. And there will definitely be no working with actual scientists In fact, Zeldin has already promised to honor the Supreme Court's Loper Bright decision, which basically upends a 40-year-old doctrine that required judges to defer to a federal agency when determining the meaning of any ambiguous laws that agency should try to enforce. See, here's the trick, right? Congress can pass laws with some mealy-mouthed language in it, right? But that's okay, because before that decision, these agencies filled with people who know what they're doing will just interpret it and say, okay, this is what they meant. Okay, because they don't, obviously, people in Congress have no idea what the hell they're talking about, all right? But we know, and so, yeah, we get the gist. And we can go and do the detailed plans from here. Now, can't do that anymore. Oh, no. Can't do it anymore. Now it'll be up to judges. Yeah, great. Which, by the way, there's been a lot of confirmed conservative justices. So you have this, issue where you have activist judges. And in this case, activist judges that are against the whole idea of trying to regulate greenhouse gases. So, not good. And back to Zeldin, who said, quote, "I don't sit before you as a scientist." No shit. Fortunately, at EPA, we do have many talented scientists who provide that research. They have that talent to be able to tell us exactly what the metrics are of their research. That is until, of course, the Trump administration finds a way to fire them and replace them with pro-fossil fuel political hacks, which is what Project 2025 calls for, the reclassification of agency officials as political appointees, meaning I can fire them now as, the head of the executive branch because they're political appointees, and we'll just hire the ones that we approve of, that are paid for, come from think tanks that are backed by Koch brothers and other fossil fuel interests. Yeah, so there you go. That's why he's saying this, by the way. Oh, yes, we have the talented scientists that are all paid for by, fossil fuel interests. They're telling us that we need to, that we're doing fine. We're doing great. In fact, you know what we need to do? We need to put more carbon into the atmosphere. We need to drill, baby, drill more drilling, more burning coal. Let's bring back even more coal. So that's what's going to happen. Now, White House kept pressing Zeldin, asking, generally and in layman's terms, what effect do these carbon dioxide emissions have when they enter the atmosphere? To which Zeldin actually correctly, although awkwardly, replied, trapping heat, Senator? Oh my God, we have a winner. Finally admits it. White House then asked about methane, to which Zeldin replied, same. Okay. What effects are carbon dioxide emissions from fossil fuel combustion having in the oceans? Zeldin responds, well, the emissions of greenhouse gases trap heat. Senator, rising sea levels are concerns for where I'm from as well. Apparently not enough of a concern for you to actually do anything to curb that. White House then asked if it was correct that the trapped heat is heating up the oceans, to which Zeldin replied, that is what the scientists tell me. Yes, for now. He then asked, White House asked, have we hit the 1.5 degree risk threshold, and why is that important? Zeldin then replied that he would have to defer to the talented scientists to be able to provide advice on an ongoing basis. To be clear, we have hit 1.5 degrees Celsius, which was supposed to be the max. We're supposed to be under that. We hit it faster than we should have. And again, shouldn't have hit it at all had we actually hit our climate goals. But no, we've not only hit it, but we're going to sail right past it. I mean, disastrous. Now, finally, White House asked Zeldin what he considers to be key climate or ocean tipping points that concerned him. And, of course, Zeldin could not name a single one. Right now, the ocean is running out of ability to absorb more carbon dioxide. That's pretty bad because The ocean for a long time has been a sink for carbon dioxide, taking the excess out of the air. But now it's running out of an ability to do that. There have been dead spots in the ocean where there is no oxygen there. There's all carbon dioxide now. And fish, believe it or not, have to breathe, okay? Yes, they breathe through gills. I know this is all basic biology stuff, but they cannot breathe the carbon dioxide, okay? And then what happens? They die. The oceans also get more acidic, which destroys the shells of crustaceans. So no more crab and lobster. You're killing them with the acidification from the carbon, softening of shells. So all these negative effects in the ocean that we're already seeing, bleaching of coral on the reefs, the destruction of habitats, the destruction of entire animal species. I would say we've hit some of those tipping points already, which are not good, but there's more. There's more. But again, all he could say is there is concern about rising sea levels from both sides of the aisle. Oh, I'm sure. I mean, what are we going to do about it? Nothing. Nothing with him in charge, okay? It's just nothing but reactionary measures, okay, when disasters hit that will equal billions of dollars paid out in damages. Mainly, of course, damages to industry, because that is going to be affected as well. It's not just, poor people that are going to be affected. It's industry. It's entire economies. If you think that solving the issue of rapid climate change is going to hurt the economy, that was your argument the entire time. Well, I'd love to do something about it, but we don't want to hurt the economy. We don't want to hurt jobs. Well, just wait and see to what happens to the economy, to those jobs, when we don't do it. Because that's where we're going. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.